Hey gamers, welcome back. This is Rick with Game Trade Media. I'm here with Duncan from Osprey Games to tell us a little bit about a very mysterious, very sneaky game about cryptozoids.
Cryptids.
Right?
Yep,
Yeah.
this is Cryptid.
All right.
So the idea is we will all be taking on the role of cryptozoologists, trying to be the first one to find the monster.
Life goals.
Yeah. So we all have a little bit of information about the cryptid's location.
Sure.
But we all want to be the first one to find them so we can get the glory of that discovery.
Right.
So the way that the game works, there's a deck of cards or an optional companion app.
Right.
And
I'll go ahead and I'll show it right here
Perfect.
on this nice little...
So that deck has a board setup on one side. The setup itself allows you to arrange your 6 map tiles and these larger structures in a particular order.
All right.
So you're going to put, for example, there's a number in the top of each map tile. So this particular one, the number 4, is going to go in the top corner and it's going to be upside down.
All right.
Once you've set that up, that takes about 2 minutes. You flip the card over.
All right.
And you get a reference to a number of clues that are in each of the map books. Or each of the clue books, rather. Each clue book contains the same number of clues, but in a random order. And each clue refers to the potential location of the cryptid's habitat. So a type of clue could be, for example, it has to be in the forest or the swamp. Or it could be, it has to be within a certain amount of spaces of one of these white structures.
Okay.
So what I'm doing on my turn is I'm going to be asking you direct questions using the pawn, putting it on a space, and going, okay, well, according to your clue, could the creature be there? And you'll either give me a yes or a no. If it's a yes, you'll put a disc down in that space. And if it's a no, you'll put a cube, and the turn goes around.
Okay, great.
So what I'm trying to do, the combination of all of those players' clues and this board setup means there's only one possible correct answer for the location of the monster.
All right.
And what I'm trying to do on my turn is puzzle out as much information out of you as I can get while revealing as little information as I can.
Okay.
So because anytime anybody else puts a cube on a space on my turn, that's a no about a specific space. That's quite a lot of information.
Sure.
I also have to put a cube somewhere on the board. And one of the ways I always have to be honest about my placement, but I can be kind of usefully vague. So, for example, if there are 2 spaces here, and I have to place a cube on my own turn, I'll look at these 2 here. I might place this cube down here. And what I'm trying to imply to the other players is that my clue relates to either not being on a forest, or might relate to not being close to water. And in reality, my clue might relate to being close to one of these green pieces, and all of this section of the board is actually off limits.
Right.
So this is technically true, but I'm trying to lead people astray.
Right.
That's the game in a nutshell. But it just, as these pieces build up along the board, it becomes more and more of a factor of kind of narrowing the information and closing it in. So the 2 options on your turn, the first is the questioning, as we just went through a second ago. The second is to search. So to search, you just take one of your own discs, place it on a space on the board and say, I think that's where the cryptid is. And play will go around the whole table with everybody either adding more discs in their own colour to that space until one player goes, actually no, it can't be there based on my information. At which point the search stops, and again, I must place one of my own cubes.
Okay.
But if it goes the whole way around, and everybody adds their discs, then that is the only space which it could ever have been.
Wow.
And you've won the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
It's great. It's really puzzly thinky, and it's only about 20, 30 minutes long as well.
Nice. And how many players does this support?
Is 3 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So it comes with a kind of set of clue books, a huge stack of cards. There's also a companion website for the game, which will give you more board setups, a couple of additional options.
Okay.
You do not need the companion site to play the game, but if you want a slightly easier setup or something that's a little bit easier to transport, you can open that up. It'll tell you how to set up the board, give you a clue, pass your phone around. Everybody has a clue. The phone gets put away, and you play your game and not stare at your screen.
Nice.
Which I really like, yeah.
That is really cool. And what's the price point on this?
The price point on this, I believe, is $37.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what you don't see is in the box, there are multiple bits
Yeah,
and
it's a
pieces. Huge stack of
chunk
cards
wood.
here with more grids and clues, and another pylon of some sort, structure.
2 difficulty levels. Anything with this clear border is your normal difficulty,
Okay.
and then anything with a black border on the card
Ooh.
is an advanced difficulty,
Okay, nice.
which doubles the amount of clues. So there's 4 possible clues in the game, or 4 types of clue, I should say. The types of clue are either it's on one type of territory, or it's within one space of a type of territory or of these animal territories. I don't know if you can see them on that screen,
Mm-hmm.
but you've got bear territory and cougar territory in some of these spaces.
Yeah, there's a red outline for the cougar, and it looks like a black for the bear. And
Black
there's
dash
all,
one.
and more bear ones.
And there's a full breakdown of those here on your
Nice.
player guide. So within one space means, for example, if it was within one space of water, it could be in the water or it could be in a space that touches the water.
Okay.
Then the next one is within 2 spaces of a type of animal territory or a type of structure. So the standing stones, for example, could be within 2 spaces of those.
Right.
And the last is within 3 spaces of a color of structure. So within 3 spaces of the white pieces, for example, would mean it's somewhere around here.
Right.
And all of these corners are basically off
Out.
limits.
Okay.
So you have your own clue first,
Mm.
and massively narrows down the board. And as soon as you start to puzzle out one other player's clue,
It expands it.
excuse me, it tightens it up
Tightens
again.
it up more. Oh, okay.
But if you start then just immediately making guesses, if you've narrowed it down to 3 or 4 spaces, you're going to be giving away a chunk of information again.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of kind of choosing when to take that risk and when you think you've cracked it and diversed into it. So
All right. That's very cool.
it's great.
So this wasn't the only thing you brought.
This is not the only thing I brought.
I am a big fan of the Ghost.
This is Lost Expedition.
Oh, Lost Expedition.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Lost Expedition is let's get into this.
Yeah.
Because
So-
it's a lot of fun.
I think there will be a lot of people who will be very happy to see this. The Lost Expedition is our card game from Per Sylvester, which in theory is a game about taking a group of characters to try to discover the lost city of Z. In practice, the Lost Expedition is a game about trying not to die in a jungle.
Well, what?
Yeah. So, as many of you may know, the Lost Expedition gives you a cast of 6 different characters, and it's modelled on Percy Fawcett's Disappearance in the Amazon. So each card is an encounter, and each encounter, the goal of the game, cooperatively, is to try and put the encounters in a survivable order. So you'd meet things like jaguars, like native tribes, like a mudslide.
Ooh, a
in the jungle.
mudslide.
And you win the game if you make it to the Lost City with at least one of your 3 characters still alive.
All right.
The Fountain of Youth is a collection of 4 different expansions which are going to change up your game of the Lost Expedition, and they're modular, so you can combine them all in whatever different combination you see fit. One of them will make the game significantly harder, one of them will make the game a little bit easier, and 2 of them will just make for more interesting and tricky decisions around different aspects of the game. So it's kind of what I like about this as an expansion is it lets you set your own challenge level to an extent.
Okay.
So the first...
Can I have the box top
absolutely
right there real
can.
quick?
My apologies.
No, it's all good. I just want everybody to see that the artwork is very much the same as the earlier versions of Lost Expedition.
Yes,
so I'm
it's
guessing
all
you're using the
from,
same artist.
Yeah, it's all from Garen Ewing. His work
amazing.
on Lost Expedition was absolutely incredible. So part of my reasoning behind putting together an expansion for this was just so I'd get a chance to work with him again, to be completely honest.
I love it.
So we have 3 new characters who are going to be the companions. And these will join your party as a 4th character. You'll randomly be given one at the start of the game.
Okay.
Volcana here has no particular expertise, but she's tough as nails, so
Right.
she has a lot of health. She'll act as a bodyguard.
Nice.
Komatsi is a native guide. He doesn't have as much health, but he is every different expertise in the game.
Okay.
And Rinty, the dog, has an expertise which allows him to chase something off. So his expertise will be to remove the last card in the row of cards.
Nice.
These will make your game slightly easier, but more than that, they'll just provide more options within the kind of wider puzzle of the game. After that, we get to the expansion for which the expansion itself is named. So the the tack we have taken with this is that when the conquistadors centuries ago went looking for the Fountain of Youth, youth was actually a mistranslation, and it was the Fountain of Life, but it said nothing about not aging over the centuries.
Okay.
So in this expansion, you will be dodging undying conquistadors in different sections of the jungle.
Nice.
And trying to get past them to stay alive. So this will add 12 new cards to your deck, which will make everything a little bit trickier, but perhaps provide you with more opportunities to advance, more chances to get some ammunition together,
right.
And add a little bit of bite to the game and change it up a little bit for people who are used to it.
I like the whole idea of basically zombie conquistadors that they found the fountain, obviously.
They found the fountain, and it did not go well for them.
Yeah.
The third expansion then is the mountain. So it introduces a new icon type, and it introduces a replacement set of map cards for the middle of the table. And in a usual game, these will be played face down. And as you progress through the jungle, you're climbing the mountain up to a point and then descending the mountain again.
All right.
And each time you move on to a new space, you flip that face up, and it has an ongoing effect for the duration that you're at that space.
Okay.
Some of them are negative, but not all of them. This one is positive, for example, and it's quite wildly positive. And it leaves you with a tricky decision, which is that if I stay here for longer, I'm more likely to survive, but if I'm not continually advancing, I have no way of winning the game. Okay. It also introduces a binoculars, I think it's a scout mechanic, which allows you to have a look at some of what's coming up in the deck and mitigate it a little bit. Have a look at the top handful of cards.
Nice.
That's the mountain. And the very last one is the mark.
The what?
The mark.
The mark. Okay. We have is that a were-jaguar?
That's a were-jaguar.
Let's take a look at that artwork. The mark.
The mark introduces a new icon.
All right.
Which is marked in that top corner.
That is nice.
There are 6 cards in the game which are marked.
Okay.
If you encounter a marked icon over the course of the game, you nominate one of your characters.
Okay.
If you encounter a second marked icon over the course of the game, that character dies and is replaced with the werebeast.
Oh, no.
Which, at a certain point, the werebeast doesn't have any expertise from the previous explorers, so you're losing your specialty in navigation, for example. But the werebeast's expertise, personally, is ammunition. So, if it is to happen early in the game, losing that expertise will probably cripple you as you're trying to make your way through the jungle.
Right.
If it happens late enough in the game, being able to switch to somebody who will just wildly attack all of the threats coming your way might actually be a big help.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's a matter of, as you go through the game, trying to judge who the right character is to nominate and when it might be right to finally let them give in to the curse.
Give in to the curse of the werebeast. I love it.
So what I like about each of these is you could throw them all in to have one huge game. You could go pick and choose and see which flavors kind of suit you. Right. And if you just want to make the original game just slightly less punishing, just introduce the companions if you're introducing the game to new players, and just let it ease off the starvation pains just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So let me ask you this about this right here, the Fountain of Youth. What is it that is going to be the price on this? Because this is bringing 4 new levels of play to the game. 4 different
expansions, which, again, because they can be used in any combination, is tons and tons of new ways to play the game. It's going to be $20.
What?
And it's coming out next month,
With the artwork on this, it's so beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Man, it's so good. Gorgeous. And I'm kind of geeking out a little bit about the whole werebeast and mark of the beast. As I'm looking at the cards, like, check this one out here, the Dark Reflection. All indicative. It's almost like you're watching a Scooby-Doo cartoon unfold in front of you, or a Johnny Quest cartoon.
Well, it's funny. We're developing new content for Lost Expedition as a system, and in the original game, it was really important to both Pear and to us that everything that happened be naturalistic. It's a survival game. It's representing Percy Fawcett's failed expedition. So, you know, these are historical characters, and some of these things will have actually happened to them.
Right.
But in an expansion, it allows us to get a little pulpier.
Yeah.
You know, a little more Indiana Jonesy,
Yeah.
and really just play with the different kind of legends that surround that part of South America. So,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
This is really good. So, Duncan, thank you so much for coming
No
up and
problem at
joining
all.
us and showing us off Cryptid and the Fountain of Youth, a part of the Lost Expedition expansion, or the Lost Expedition
The Lost
expansion, which is very cool. These are both available here at GenCon?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, no, we're previewing them here at
previewing,
GenCon.
okay.
They're both coming out next month.
Next month?
Yep.
All right. So, that means at your local game store, you need to drop on in and pick up a copy of Cryptid and the Fountain of Youth to add to your Osprey library, because you guys have a lot of game material book-wise in the publishing and game side. So much cool stuff. And if you want to find out more about Osprey Games, where would someone go?
The best thing is just ospreygames.co.uk. That'll bring you straight to our section of the website, and you'll get kind of PDFs of all of our rule books, kind of cheat sheets, and kind of aids for any of our stuff.
Okay.
Usually a bunch of YouTube videos for rules explanations. All of that stuff will have you
right
covered.
there. Perfect. So go check out their website as well. That's pretty much it.
That's it. Thank you very much.
We still got some time here at GenCon. We got to get in there and just see some more stuff. It's so crazy down that floor.
It's absolutely hectic, and there's so much great stuff that I haven't had a chance to really get my teeth into yet.
Yeah.
Like, okay, buy Cryptid, buy The Fountain of Youth. These are genuinely good games, and I'm genuinely proud of them. But, like, there's games like Root that is beautiful. Yeah. The Overlight RPG coming out from Renegade is stunning to look at.
Played it.
Have you?
I've already played it.
What was it like?
It is so much fun. One of the things I like about it, because as an RPer, because they're in Maryland, we're in Maryland. We actually shot their Kickstarter video.
Oh, okay.
And so when you pick up all those dice, because there's a dice pool that grows and does some stuff as you're playing it, and you get to roll it. It just feels exciting, and the world that Paul and George have created is just amazing.
Oh, it's just
so
stunning.
there's so much good stuff here. You're absolutely right. Want to see something good?
Go on.
Take a look at the screen right there. Let's take a look at what's going on down on the football field. The convention has grown so much larger than just the convention center that we now see players on the Lucas Oil Stadium football field playing all these amazing games that we're talking about here.
Is one of those sections one of the mega games?
I have no doubt that it is.
It is. Oh, this is great.
Yeah. And so the people are flowing through this space. There's the big RPG rooms. There's the Hall C, which is nothing but demos and playthrough opportunities on all these amazing games.
You could spend an entire 4 days here, wall-to-wall games, and not go anywhere near the vendor hall.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's ridiculous and so much fun.
It's great.
Yeah. So there you have it, everybody. There's so much stuff going on here, but Osprey Games, go check them out. Pick it up. I'm Rick here for Game Trade Media. Duncan, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
And we're going to see you at the game store.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Game Trade Media. Make sure to leave us a like and click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any new content.